Yo, what pronouns does a chocolate bar use? Her, she. Okay, so we have just been knowledge dumped by the Jagex team. They just did the what's it called? The big summit, the winter summit, where they explain what's going on in the next 365 days and beyond. So I have organized these. They're 3 hour long live stream and billion word long thingies. What are they called? Blogs into a shorter video, hopefully a TLDR that you can throw on in the background while you clean your ex-wife's boyfriend's room. Just do some house chores, stuff like that. So, number one, I've organized this in terms of what I think is the biggest news, the most important news of all time. The Fractured Archive. Like, you don't know what that is when you look at this. If you don't know, like, what this is, you're thinking, oh, is this a new quest? Is this what? This is Raids 4. So we knew Raids 4 was coming, but I thought it was going to be Fremenic themed. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't really know what to expect, like a demonic or abyssal theme, something like that. It is not. They've told us a little bit of info on this, but the biggest thing is it's going to be called the Fractured Archive TFA instead of TOA or TOB. So pretty cool. The video, amazing. Watch the video when you get a chance. It's just like cinematic. It's great. So, what do we know about Raids 4? It's not very long here. Look, this is a short little thing. They didn't talk about rewards. They talked a little bit about how it's going to work and what we're expecting for it to be. So, basically, it's like a library that Guthix has assembled. All of his powerful artifacts and knowledge. It's kind of like a tomb or a library of like stuff that Guthix has put together. So that's the lore. I'm not big on lore. Like, I don't read quests. I like it when I do read it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I just rush through. I'm a rewards kind of guy. I'm like a content kind of guy. So you can read some of the lore. You can listen to Mod Ed. You can watch the video. The lore is cool. Like, it looks cool. It's a very cool premise for it. It seems like it's going to be like below Lumbridge. You need to complete While Guthix Sleeps, the quest, the Grandmaster Quest, before you can actually even take part in this raid. So first off, there's not going to be many bots doing this, at least early on, which is great because they're going to have to do a billion quests. So if they get caught and they get banned, they're going to have to remake an account, build it all the way up, do the quest again. So that's a good thing. That's good news. Whereas TOA, like, there was a quest and whatever, and you could get there quickly, but like the other raids, there's a lot of bots. So continuing on, this is going to be a TOB style approach for this raid. So you'll have a bunch of demi-bosses. There will be no puzzle rooms. And then there's an epic showdown with a final boss. It's just you, your friends, and the fight of your lives. This is music to my ears. I love it. It was just like puzzle rooms for the sake of puzzle rooms in previous raids. We went from chambers, where there's 4 bosses, 2 puzzles, and prep, and they're like, wow, we didn't like that. Let's go to none. And they did Tob, and everyone loved it. What do they do for TOA? 4 puzzles and 4 bosses. They just, like, they doubled the amount of puzzle rooms. Anyways, silly. But continuing on. It's to make group bosses where the focus is just simple mechanics. It gives you plenty of space to optimize what makes the best... the optimization, it makes the best players stand out. So you can finish the raid in 30 minutes with a regular group. Everybody can do it. It's good. We made some money. Or you can optimize and get it done in 20. Or you can get it done in 18. Or you can, like, you just, like, speed up. So it sounds like Tob. Tob number 2. So it'll be 2 to 8 players, as it says here. Solo will be possible, but difficult. So that's good. Subdeck, like, all this is open for polling, by the way. There'll be a practice mode, which allows players to jump into any boss in the raid and practice killing it on the regular difficulty. However, the mode will not be made available on release. It will instead launch in the weeks following the raid's release to keep the competitive blah, blah, blah. I like that because day 1 of TOA, I completed my first raid. It was like an entry mode, level 0 Invo. And then I was able to just go into a normal one at 150 and complete that right away because I already knew all the mechanics of all the bosses. So yeah, keep it hard on release, especially for a few weeks. I'm not a huge fan of, like, entry mode. Like, if you've completed Wild Gothic Sleeps, you don't need an easy mode for a raid. Like, make it hard. That's what I prefer. On release, a full team wipe will reset the raid. Amazing. Just like TOB, it is punishing. It is hard. Yeah, but it doesn't, they're taking a half-measured approach, which I think is a good medium, because in a few weeks after release, it will move to a TOA-style wipe system where you have infinite tries, but you will sacrifice rewards and dwindling resources if you want to keep trying. So it's good. You do play with friends who like in a punishing raid like TOB, especially for the first couple years, like you wouldn't bring people that sucked at the raid because it would just, you'd wipe your team and it wastes everyone's time. So it is good to have it where they can die, they lose some points towards getting rewards, and there you go. It's also hilarious when you get a purple at the end of a raid and you have like 18 deaths and you're like, how did this happen? Okay, so yeah, and then it'll require while Gothic sleeps. So moving on, there's some concept art. Like look at this. That's gonna be like Guthic's Archive Guardian. It's a raids boss. That looks so cool. This guy looks really cool too. Another boss concept. Just a big Justice-Year warrior kind of guy. That's all they've shown. No rewards shown. So here's my speculation on rewards, and this is where I implore you to comment below. What do you want to see for rewards? What do you think we will see for rewards? There's going to be whole blogs dedicated to the rewards. They're not going to put out a blog with all 7 rewards. Like usually these raids have like 7 to 12 items that come from it. They're just going to go one at a time, apparently. Now, maybe if there's an armor set, they'll do like the 3 pieces of the armor. And we'll go through it, we'll gather feedback, they'll pull it, and then move on. And then you keep going like that. That's a great process. They're like, this game is getting better and better every year because they're learning from their mistakes and they're finding ways of getting better with stuff. So, predictions. Raid 1 was a ranged mega rare. Raids 2 was a melee mega rare. Raids 3 was a magic mega rare. What else is there? Well, there's more than just that. What other skills apply to your combat level? There's prayer, there's hit points, and there's defense. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating. If we get to raids 5 or 6, you could add a new ranged mega rare that is better than the T-bow or is a different niche to the T-bow. Like, I could see that. I don't want to get there yet. We're only 4 raids in. I think you keep exploring other combat stuff. I'm gonna hit them off one at a time here of what I don't really want to see. HP, hit points. You can't add a hit point mega rare. Raids 2. RuneScape 2 had Torva, Pernix, and Virtus armor, where when you wore it, it increased your hit points past 99. It would go to like 150. So you had just more health. I don't want that in old school RuneScape. Personally, I think like we're at the spot where your HP is like, that's old school RuneScape. This is like a key component of what keeps this old school. I don't want to go to 200 HP or 150 HP or anything like that. So I'm going to scratch that off as a possibility, some weird way of increasing your hit points past 99. Scratch that off. Prayer. We've already seen them try multiple times to add new prayer books. This raid is also in an archive with all these books and like stuff around like books and whatever else. I could see them putting like new prayers in with this. And I would probably be okay with it. I just need to like look at the prayers. They did a beta for the new prayers, the cursed whatever from Desert Treasure 2. They tried, and the beta was so bad. They would have pulled it, and it would have passed, but they knew how bad it for the game it would have been to add in an upgraded piety, an upgraded rigor, and upgrade everything. Like, it's just so much power creep. I was able to spec a 100 with an Armadyl Godsword in max gear with the new prayer, whereas without the new prayer, it was an 87. So that's 13 damage increase based on the numbers that they were running with that. That's too much. So if they're adding a new prayer book, they're going to have to get creative. I want it to feel old school. Yeah, it's just like, it's kind of tricky. They could keep one prayer book. Don't add a new prayer book. And just have, when you read a scroll, it replaces your other whatever's going on. But I don't know how, like, you can't have a new prayer book be a mega rare. Usually it'd just be like a big prayer is the mega rare. Like maybe they add the cursed prayer book or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Where turmoil is the mega rare, and that's better than piety, and like that's what it is. I don't want that. I want an item that I can wear, I can sell, I can all this stuff. Which brings me to a couple of ideas. Personally, the Scythe of Vitter, I don't love it for what it does. Like it's a slash weapon and it's got a crush option. This feels very stupid, but I'd rather they do it than nothing at all. Remove the crush option from the Scythe or nerf it like crazy. Very simple. That now allows you to put a melee mega rare that is a crush equivalent to the Scythe. Or you leave the crush on the Scythe and you cut your losses. You say, no, we're not changing it. And you add in a stab version of a mega rare. I look at the Sunlight Spear. I'm going to put a link to that video where I talk about Raids 4 Mega Rare. It's a whole video dedicated to it. The Sunlight Spear, with numbers being adjusted, okay, could be on par with the Scythe. Same DPS, but against monsters that are weak to stab. And then you just make this raid weak to stab. Now, that falls in line with the next set of rewards. You always get a set of armor. You have Ancestral, you have Justiciar, you have Masori. With this one, you could do some stab armor. We've already got Oathplate, we've got Inquisitors. You could add like a stab-based armor set with a stab mega rare to this raid. It's very basic and simple, and I kind of want simple. With Raids 3, they tried to add the Tumikin's Wand, or whatever it was called. They called it something the Wand of Elidness. And it was so complicated, no one could understand what the heck was going on, so they scrapped it and they added, here's a big two-handed staff that hits big numbers and is really accurate. And I liked that. So that's what they could do with this, is just add like an equivalent to the Scythe, but it's a stab variant, and add some stab armor and call it a day. That's kind of what I'm looking at. That's what I'm thinking. But again, comment below what you are thinking is going on there. I do not do YouTube video sponsors. I don't do it. I will eventually, maybe, who cares, whatever. I just do this for fun. This is not my job. But I'm going to shamelessly sell out my Discord. There's a link to the Discord in the chat here. We've been talking about Deadman Mode in here. Just strategizing. And yeah, Pondax here was talking about, let's attack the big snake at the end of here. So anyways, strats for Deadman Mode. If you want to join the Discord, go for it. That's my sellout for the video. But also subscribe. And like the video, it helps a lot if you do like it. That is Raids 4. We've talked about it for almost 12 minutes now, so I'm going to move along to the next. In my mind, the next biggest update is the League 6. We already had this announced. We knew it was going to be called Demonic Packs, and it was going to be Yama themed. What do we know about it? Well, relics are now going to be called pacts. Not like, yeah, like P-A-C-T-S. It's kind of a weird word. Basically, what I'm anticipating, and I might be wrong on this, when you get a pact like a relic, it might debuff something else but buff another thing. Don't know if that's true, but yeah, they're calling them powerful pacts, so it will change the way you play and allow you to do things that you wouldn't be able to do in the normal game. So pretty cool. It's all like we're on the same page here with other leagues. Nothing is earth-shattering at this point. It will be region locking. You will only be able to pick a certain amount of regions. They haven't said how many. Please, I implore you to allow us to pick 1 or 2 more areas. 3 sucks. It's not enough. Let us do 4 or 5. You've added a whole new continent to the game with Varlamore. Let us pick more regions. So, the next cool thing, what has changed? You will not be starting in Misthalin. Every league, you start in Lumbridge, and you start doing your thing. We will not be starting in Misthalin for this one. Your new league's journey will be starting in a whole different region, which is pretty cool. Koramja used to be automatically unlocked for you for free as part of the tutorial. This time, it will be coming later, like a few hours into playing. So you're really going to want to explore your starting area. I'm guessing it's Varlamore. I'm going out on a limb and saying it's like Korend and Varlamore, which would be really, really fun. I would love that to be something that they do. They say the starting area is going to be a new version of Yama's lair, which is kind of cool. Within his lair, you'll do the tutorial, find out what's going on with the Sage, and then it's a good way to get everyone ready before sending you off into the world. You can go back to it at a later time, but we'll talk about this later. So, interesting. It sounds like you're going to be in a Yama escape room to start, which is pretty sweet. Boss variants and their rewards. There's going to be League Echo bosses. They'll probably be called something different, but you need to have these because they're like a regular KBD. When you unlock the Wilderness region, you kill it in 2 hits in leagues. Make it so it's like a 10x HP, 10x defense, 10x attacks. Like just make them super strong so that you actually have a challenge in leagues. But with the buffs and everything, they're killable. So that'll be good. Demonic Pacts is going to be the new type of combat mastery system. So they're going to make changes to the combat mastery system. So it's not going to be as simple as it was before. And then another big thing, sailing will not be included in this. They're going to wait around 12 months of sailing release before they start putting it into Deadman Mode or leagues. I'm okay with that. It is what it is. It's fine. They could have added it and it would have been fine. Just like let people do it, but don't add any like relics towards it or something. But whatever. I'd rather them make a really good league that doesn't have sailing than a league that has sailing and they focus too hard on sailing and then it's just crap. So that's good. Here is insane rewards. I am so pleased with the rewards. First off, cosmetic set. Yeah, those comes with all of them. That's fine. A little banner, a little trophy, cool stuff, a teleport animation. Very cool. You can replace your demonic throne in your house to be the Yama throne. That's kind of cool. No one's really going to use that. Not a big deal. But this is where they cooked, okay? That's all the cool kids say, "Oh, you cooked with that, bro. Bro's cooking." You could add a thrall override, like a cosmetic for your thralls. Currently, I hide thralls because they're ugly. I use a plugin to hide them. I won't if I have this. You'll have a little imp with an axe, a little ranged imp where he's chucking darts, or a little imp with a fire staff. That is so cute, and I love it, and I want like a million different overrides for thralls now. It's amazing. I will be absolutely going for this. It's incredible. Next one is the kit for weapons. Trident of the Seas can look really cool. Trident of the Swamp can look really cool. Ivan's Staff can look cool. None of these are used by players, like, very often. But this is a best-in-slot adjacent item. The Soul Reaper Axe. It will now look like Yama's axe. Sign me the heck up for that. I was hoping that they would add this with Yama as, like, if you complete Oathplate, you get this also. But they didn't. But, like, look how cool that would look. So, Soul Reaper Axe, panic buy, because it's going to be best-in-slot Fashionscape. So that's pretty sweet. And then look at this. Like, I thought they were done cooking, but they've cooked even further. You can now get some Oathplate Slayer helms recolor, which it just looks, that'll look so good. So, very pleased with that. And then last but not least, a new Butler override. It'll make your house Butler look cool. And then last but not least again, red skin. Yeah, I'll probably, try that, see if it looks good with any of the stuff that I'm wearing. But, yeah, really cool. Really pleased with League 6 so far. Leagues is just fun. If you've never played one, like, book it off in your calendar because it is the most fun that you will have this year. Okay, Blood Moon Rises. We knew about this from last summit, the summer summit, but what is new about this? It's going to be an end game quest to the Myrique saga. If I'm not pronouncing that right, I apologize to everyone, like, just literally. So, the release, they initially thought it was coming sooner, but they're pushing it to summer 26. So we're 5 months away, let's say. I'm fine with it, whatever. Make it good, that's all I care about. So there's quest requirements. It's a big quest. It's like an end game. This is a Song of the Elves quest, basically. It's that difficulty. There's going to be a new flail that you can get from the quest. There's going to be a new spec weapon. Which is kind of cool. That's like as a 50 attack spec weapon. I'm thinking like Arcan Blade, you get that from the new quest, like something like that. So very simple. They're both going to be pulled. Now, there's a whole new, like, area of the map called Vampyrium, where it's going to be like Prif Dinis. Like, there's so much stuff going on in Prif. There's the Gauntlet, there's the, that's it, there's Gauntlet, that's all it is. No, there's lots of stuff going on. These are all the creatures that they're talking about putting in. There's going to be ways of training, like, woodcutting, AFK, or you could, like, tick manipulate, similar to how the Oathplate smithing method works. I don't know. I think I love the Oathplate smithing method, personally. Woodcutting and PVM, they're combining PVM with woodcutting. Seeker arrows. So, like, you can get these arrows from stuff in Vampyrium. It will give you 23 more ranged attack. You can attach them to dragon arrows. So these are like shafts. You slap them on dragon arrows, it will give you more accuracy. It also gives you a minimum hit of 2. You can still hit 0, but if you hit a 1, it will convert that to a 3, which is kind of cool. It's added DPS without increasing the max hit. Perfect. That's a good way of doing it. And then, yeah, there's this whole ecosystem in there of, like, you do this method and you get this supply, and that supply applies to the other thing, and you can do that, and then that converts to this thing, and then eventually you end up with these arrow shafts, or you buy them on the Grand Exchange. It's very simple. As an Iron Man, I like these little ecosystems where you do stuff like Fossil Island has a little ecosystem, like everything you do gives you the fossils that can be converted to this, and blah, 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 blah. That's all how it kind of works. So there's the other things. This is a hunter method where there's like a bird. It's an AFK hunter method, but you have to do some setup and, like, grind a little bit to get it set up, and then you can AFK for a while. So I like that idea as well. This is a new food. You eat the food. It's like a fishing method to get the food. Once you eat it, it heals you for 16 health. And then if you do any damage with melee, like a successful melee hit on your next attack, it will give you another 16 health. But there's a huge delay on it. It sits basically between Anglerfish and Bruise, but you need to be using melee and you need to hit. If you hit a 0, it only heals 16. Kind of interesting. Leech fin sandwich. They look disgusting, but it is what it is. Now, there's going to be these new Slayer creatures called the Leech fins that will drop blood shards, and apparently they're better for getting blood shards. So blood shards crash. Good fight. Maggots. That's another thing. There's going to be a Maggot King. This looks like whatever that boss is called, the Grumbler. I'm drawing a blank. But yeah, this thing is ugly as heck. Phantom Muspa. There you go. And it's a new solo boss. It's like just a repeatable one like Vorkath. After you finish the quest, you can do that. What does it drop? It drops the Crimson Bludgeon, which looks really cool. And it drops the Necklace of Pursuit. Necklace of Pursuit is an upgrade to, Anguish. The Necklace of Anguish. The range amulet. So it's the equivalent of a Rancor, but for range. And then the Crimson Bludgeon is basically, from what I'm understanding, Dragon Claws, but for Crush. So, kind of interesting. I'm not going to get fully into detail on everything that's going on here. There's a lot of numbers and all this stuff, but that's the summary. So, coming in the summer of 2026, we're a few months away from that. Pretty cool stuff. Deadman is coming very soon. Subscribe if you want some guides and some Deadman content. And then again, join the Discord. I'm going to run like group bossing sessions. If you don't have a clan or you don't have like too many friends that would play Deadman, I'm just trying to put together a good group of people to do it. The All-Stars is coming. All-Stars 3. This will be an event in Chicago, in the United States of America. So first time they're doing an event outside of the UK, from what I understand. And pretty exciting. It'll be June 6th, I think they said. June 6th. So they've got all the top content creators related to Deadman will be all on stage. There will be 4,000 tickets that you can buy and you can go watch it. So it's like a mini... It's going to be, it's not even mini, it's bigger. There's more tickets available to this than to RuneFest, the most recent one. 4,000 tickets compared to 3,000. So, pretty exciting. And you can go do it in North America. So if you're from anywhere in North America, this is a much easier commute at that point. Next up, continuing, sailing. And I'm not going to talk about this very long, I promise. Here's the roadmap. Step 1, fix boat combat. There's going to be a whole blog dedicated to that. They've given us no information with this so far. There's a lot of stuff they could do, but basically it's going to make boat combat like fun. They need to add some endgame bosses for sure to make it worthwhile. Right now, boat combat is bare bones. There's nothing to it. There's a few collection logs and maybe moneymakers and stuff like that. In the summer, new quest is coming, a player-designed island. So there was a competition run, and that's the next step here. And then combat update. So that's kind of cool. Sequel quest again in the autumn. New Barracuda Trial. So Barracuda Trial was like pretty cool. It's good. They're just going to keep adding new stuff. And then a huge sea expansion after autumn. Probably, I would guess, early 2027. Oh my gosh, the numbers are adding up at this point. So, yeah, they're going to do a big boat combat rework. They've got stuff talking on here, combat changes, crewmates, look, I'm not breaking down this picture. Like, that's crazy. So, yeah, there's a lot to it for sailing. I have sailing fatigue. I got 99. I thought it was great, but like, yeah, I'm excited for content on land once again at this point. Until there's like an actual update out for sailing, or like really in-depth blogs that explain things, we're just going to move on. Speaking of moving on from sailing, let's talk more about sailing. So sailing player-designed island competition finalists. They have 4 finalists for these islands. There's a lot of like info to them and like inspiration and stuff like that. Some of these mock-ups are really cool. Very quickly, island number 1 will have some stuff on it. An active alternate to glassblowing, cool. Active pre-sepulcher agility course, cool. Bagpipes and war drums, I don't know what that's all about. But the main thing is a boss to practice PvP. That's really cool. I think that is a fantastic idea. It's not a crazy concept. I'd thought about this. I talked about it at one point. Basically, we've got bots in LMS with basic mechanics for PKing. They've gotten way too advanced. But if they had a boss kind of like Nilo, where like you can fight it for a little bit, then it changes its prayer, and then you switch. Like, it teaches you how to PvP. We need to be the average player needs to learn how to PvP through like an actual bot or like an NPC like this. So I think it's great. But that's kind of how it works. Is the main staple of this island looks to be this this like ghostly looking guy here. It'll be boosted combat XP during the fight. If that's a new way of training combat, is like actively fighting, that's great. I love it. So anyways, that's everything with that one there. Oh, let me throw some credit on this. Who's this by? Sparrow 5 or V. Sparrow V. This one is by Rose NMC Gate. Like, look at this cool artwork on here. It's pretty cool. And then what's the main staples of this? The main staples of this would be Fallen from Grace Quest, Golem crafting, like a new crafting method, a new hunter method. The mini boss is called the Mad Angel. I'm skipping ahead to that because it looks cool. And there's some, like, it's got some mechanics that he explains, or they explain. Now, Angelic Heart. A rare drop is a weaker imbued heart, boosting magic to +8. That's perfect. This is a great niche. Put that in the game. I'm excited for that. As an Iron Man, getting an imbued heart is just awful. So having an imbued heart that's called an angelic heart, great. I love that that thinking there. Okay, so some miscellaneous here. A couple of new potions. This one is when you drink the potion, you'll get more gusts of wind while sailing. I think that fits really well. And then a potion of flight. Drink it and it will teleport you out of the wilderness above level 30 if you're not in combat. So yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know how that would work, but that's pretty cool. Here's the next one. Not as cool artwork, so I can tell you already it's not going to win because people see cool artwork and vote yes. This one has a new hunter method that converts into prayer experience. It has a new agility course, and it has some upgrades to like magic, basically. So some new Death Spire gauntlets that will act as an upgraded version of the Chaos gauntlets for blast spells. This is very small niche kind of stuff here. But then a couple of these items here, they'll probably end up coming into the game at some point, whether this island works out or not. But yeah, seaweed sack capable of storing more than 28 seaweed, apparently. Jar of heads, so a jar capable of storing 28 ensouled heads. We already have a soul bearer, which just teleports them to your bank, so this is relevant. Mariner's bow, a bow similar in level to a magic bow, but it fares better on sea than land. This idea I like. I like them. Like, we currently just use regular gear out on the ocean. Like, you'll use a shadow when you're killing, what are those called? Krakens out in the place, or sharks or whatever. You'll use a, like, magic or a blowpipe or whatever. So I think it'd be cool to add niches where it's like, yeah, there's this new bow that is best in slot against sea creatures. That, to me, sounds like a raid on the ocean. Like, adding a new T-bow, but it's like an ocean bow or whatever. So, anyways. And then the last one by Ninja Pig. I don't know if I credited this one. Man, I'm just wasting your time. W Hawks. Good little proposal you got there. Sea Gnome Outpost. This looks very old school. It sounds old school. It looks cool. New Slayer Master, where tasks can only be completed on sailing islands. And then it gives you more points and blah, blah, blah. I love that. I think that is fantastic. Yes to that. A new agility course. Everyone wants a new agility course. Just start adding new agility courses. I think it's just good to do that. New giant seaweed patch, house portal, and all that good stuff. So those are the 4 sailing islands, and you get to vote on which one you want. That, to me, summarizes what was going on with this this thing here. What's it called? The Winter Summit. So, mostly excited for the Fractured Archive. It can't come soon enough, but it's going to be here at the end of 2026. So we've got a lot of time to talk about the rewards for that. Again, comment below what you want from Raids 4. All of them. The mega rare, the mini rewards, what kind of boss mechanics do you want, all that stuff. But pretty excited for it. And I think we're in good hands. I think we got a good year ahead. Yeah, good. Jagex, good. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about was